Hey there, it's Kay, and thank you so much for joining me for today's budget planning video where I'm going to be going over my estimated October budget. So that includes my estimated monthly income, monthly expenses, and monthly saving. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you again. If you're new to my content, it's nice to meet you, and I hope you stick around. So why don't we hop right into this monthly budget? So I'm going to start out with my 2-page monthly spread. I'm going to mark my paydays as well as my fixed expenses for the month, and I'll add my color coding here for my variable expenses. And so let me grab my stickers that I've made. So I'm actually going to start with marking my paydays. I am only expecting 2 paydays for the month. So the first payday of October is actually technically fallen in September the 29th. And then the second payday is 2 weeks after that, and that's October the 13th, which is not a Friday the 13th, but that's okay. That can't happen every year. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those. And I would get a payday on the 27th here, but I'm gonna count that towards November. So these are gonna be my 2 paydays that I'm budgeting for, and it's gonna be the first month of me budgeting on a very low expected income. Next, for my fixed expenses, I really don't have that many anymore now that I've paid off all my credit card debt. So I have, most of them are auto pay type subscriptions. So I have Spotify for $5, and then I have my phone bill, which is through Sprint, and that should be about $54. And then my insurance, my car insurance through Safeco is $133. And then I have my tuition that I owe UMass. That's $50 a month on a payment plan. And then I have my Adobe Creative Cloud for $16. And then my rent, which I'm gonna leave blank because rent is somewhat variable for me, but I do count it as a fixed expense because it has a fixed due date. So rent will remain blank on the calendar until I close out the budget. I'm going to go ahead and add these in their chronological order. So Spotify. So on the 1st, and then Sprint comes out on the 10th. And then Safeco comes out on the 13th. Which happens to be a payday, but it will be paid under paycheck 1, which you'll see eventually when we get to that point. UMass is due on the 15th on autopay. Creative Cloud usually comes out on the 26th. And then rent is usually due obviously like the 1st of the month, but I try to pay it a couple days beforehand, so I'm gonna put it on the 30th. I like to have it a few days early just for processing, just in case, because I don't want a late fee. So that's all my fixed expenses, and now I have to decide what colors I want to use for my variable spending categorization. I made these really fun like Halloween-y colors to kind of go. I wanted a little Halloween-y spread, and I've just realized I somehow always end up with yellow or orange, and now I have both. So since yellow is usually gas, I'm gonna stick to my guns and go yellow with gas. And for November, I'm gonna try not to do that again. And food usually ends up orange or red. So I'm going to put food as the orange category. And maybe that makes sense because orange makes me hungry. I think psychologically orange makes a lot of people hungry. Honestly, most of these colors make me hungry because they're like, I was like thinking like candy colors with these. So my other two categories are allowance and pet. So what do I want allowance and what do I want pet? I think I'm gonna go with just purple allowance. And then green pet. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that color coding. I like to add it into my little notes column up here. Sorry if I'm like shaking extra worse than I normally am. I got into a little car accident this morning and I still have like nerves, like nervous energy from it. I'm fine, everyone's fine. I mean, but are we really fine? Like, I'm physically fine, I'm not emotionally fine, basically. And then I add a little laundry sticker here. Laundry is a variable expense for me, but is the only one that I pay cash with. I just draw a fixed amount of cash that I decide in the beginning of the month and just add it to my laundry card. So that's for that. So the calendar setup is all set. I'm actually not decorating this one. I just kind of want to avoid extra clutter on these for a little bit. I want to be able to just easily analyze this data that I'm collecting, because sometimes when I put stickers it gets a little overwhelming for my eyes. I get easily distracted. So that's going to be all set on the calendar fronts. So I'm going to move on. This is actually a new page. Well, I've added 2 new pages to my budget book. I'm not going to be using this yet, but I've added this format in both sinking funds and variable spending. And I've kept the other old format of those. So both formats are in the book now. My weekly check-in, I'm not getting there yet. I have 2 versions of the debt tracker in the book now. So this is a new shorter version that I made for myself for when I do my debt videos with you guys. And then the original version is still in the book. What I need here is the monthly budget. So I'm gonna fold this over and zoom in and we can get to work on this. So as I've said all along so far on my journey this year, my income dwindles towards the end of the year because I'm not traveling for my job, which means I'm losing out on money that I would earn from travel, like mileage for driving or per diem for staying in a hotel. So I am gonna be much tighter in my budget these last few months. October is not going to be super tight because I've actually decided to take in a sinking fund that I am retiring. So I'm going to have 2 sources of income this month, obviously from my job, and then I'm going to be taking in my phone sinking fund because I've purchased my phone. I've purchased the accessories that I need for it, and I'm all set with it. And there's still money left in it, so I saved more than I needed, which is excellent. So I actually have it here with me, and there should be $145 left in here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, so 145 is going to come into the budget this month from the sinking fund being absorbed. And then I want to be realistic and on the safe side for my income from my work estimation. So it's probably going to be about $1,000 a paycheck. So I'm going to go for a $2,000 estimate for my income. So that brings me to $2,145 for my total income. Estimated anyway, not fixed. So all my fixed expenses are all the expenses I added to my calendar just now in the black stickers. So my Spotify, Sprint, Safeco, UMass, Adobe, and Rent. Spotify is for 5, Sprint is 54, Safeco is 133, UMass is 50, Adobe is 16, and for rent, I'm gonna stick with my $900 that I usually estimate. It's been pretty close to there, and it's not cold enough for me to turn my heat on yet, so I'm not gonna worry about the heat bill just yet. So I'm not going to factor that in. So I'm going to stay with that as I have been budgeting. Let me grab my calculator. We can total these up. 5 plus 54 plus 133 plus 50 plus 16 plus 900. So we have 1158. And then we have 2145 minus 1158, so 987. Yeah, so that is kind of tight. So if you've been following my budgets, my variable expenses usually come around the $600 mark. So really that's not a ton of wiggle room to also be saving. I'm trying to save a little bit of money for the holidays. So I'm gonna have to cut down on my variable expenses this month. So I'm gonna add in my categories, which you guys also saw on the calendar. So allowance, food, gas, laundry, and pets. So as it stands, a lot of these variable expenses of mine aren't super flexible. So I'll be able to decrease a lot of them, just not by a lot. So the most flexible is obviously allowance, but allowance is an area where I've been overspending. So I'm afraid to crunch it back too much because I work really, really hard for my money and I should be allowed to have just like a little bit of spending on myself. So I'm going to cut that back to 60. So normally I would do $80 for the month, which is about $20 a week. I'll scale it down to 60. Food, I'm going to scale back a little bit to 300. The biggest issue with scaling back food a lot is groceries are very expensive around here right now. I actually already did my first grocery haul of the month and it was significantly higher out of pocket than I normally would spend on a 2-week grocery run. So I'm really afraid to scale that back and not have enough money for groceries. Gas I can scale back a little bit. I still have some local travel left this month and next month. So I'm gonna scale back the gas to 100 from 125, which it was before because I was going over or getting close to going over before. So I'm gonna stick with 100. And laundry I can't really scale back at all because it's like a wash is $275, a dry is $225. So to do one load of laundry it's $5. If I cut back to $20, that only gets me 4 loads, and I need to do usually about 2 loads a week, 1 load of work clothes, 1 load of personal clothes. So that's kind of a tricky thing to have to cut back on. And then pets is something I cannot really cut back on because my cat has a special diet. So his food's a little pricier than normal. So, I mean, these are a majority lower than the amounts I budgeted for last month, and I will give these a go. Let me see how much they are before I feel bad about it. Let's see. 60 plus 300 plus 100 plus 40 plus 80 is 580. From 987 leaves 407. That's not bad, actually. No, yeah, I'll work with that. I won't feel too bad about that. That's decent. That's just like a little more than half of what I brought into the category. So I'm going to take this 407 into my sinking funds. I really just want to avoid having to go to the bank more than once to get like my laundry money out of the ATM. So I'm going to allocate my 145 from my phone fund income to my sinking funds. So my funds, I have savings for my car, savings for home, savings for medical, and then I have my personal savings. Oh, personal has an O. And then I have my vet sinking fund, which I'm still calling it vet, but I will change it eventually to my miles sinking fund for my cat. And then I have a Christmas sinking fund. So I have 6 funds and I have $145. So for my regular funds, I have 5. So if I did 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and then 45 in Christmas, okay, that works. That makes it easy too, because I have like pretty much all 20s and 1 5. So that's what I'm gonna plan on using my phone fund money for, is for my sinking funds. And then if I'm lucky and I have extra income that I can save, I will, but I'm just gonna plan for that for now. So 407 subtract 145, 262. Oh, that is really tight. In my September debt update video, I think I had to lower my estimate from August. So August for debt, I think I said, yeah, 370, which ended up being way too high when I started to think about it as we were getting closer. So then September, yeah, I knocked it down to 250. So I actually am pretty close. I was actually pretty accurate on that. So 262 will probably be what I can throw towards debt, which is I'm tackling my Nelnet F loan right now. And then nothing for extra savings. It just kind of, it's not really being used right now. All right, so here it is, my October monthly estimated budget. So my estimated income and expenses and all of that good stuff. So here is my October estimated monthly budget, and I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it despite it being much lower income than I've been used to in the past few months. I'm still able to make a lot of good work out of the low amount of money that I'm thinking I'm gonna come into. I mean, all the bills are paid, so that's already like C, average, you're great. And I had to make cuts in some of my variable spending, and hopefully I can stay true to these numbers and not have to go over on anything. And I'm able to make important savings contributions to my sinking funds and still hit my extra debt payment goal that I set. So overall for the month, I'd say we're looking up. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. You're the best. If you want to support me and my content and my journey, best things to do, make sure you're subscribed to my channel with the notifications on so that you do get notified when I upload. I'm aiming for a Monday, Wednesday upload schedule for October, with this video to come out on Wednesday to start the cycle for me. I swear I am working on my time management. It is so hard for me right now. If you like my budget sheets, they're available on my Etsy store, which is KayPlannerPrintables, where you can find my complete workbook or just the monthly and paycheck budget sheets in this very chic orange. And if you like general planning content, you can follow me on Instagram at KBudgetPlans, where I'll post some of my happy planner spreads throughout the week, as well as video updates and things in between uploads. So anyways, I hope to see you down in those comments, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace out.